The scenery you see every day, the thoughts that suddenly appear in your mind, we usually believe these are reality exactly as they are. But what if they are not? What if they are only a carefully edited version of the world, created by your own brain? Hello, I'm Marillo. In a previous video, we explored the idea that reality might be holographic from the point of view of quantum physics. Today, we will look at reality from another angle, neuroscience. How much information does the brain filter? Our senses are constantly receiving information from the world. In fact, visible light represents only about 0.0035% of the entire electromagnetic spectrum. Research by German scientist Manfred Zimmermann and others shows something even more surprising. Every second, our sensory organs send about 11 million bits of information to the brain. But how much of that reaches our conscious awareness? Only about 50 bits per second. That means almost everything is filtered out. The brain is constantly choosing a tiny amount of information and creating a simple story for us to survive. Professor Anil Seth from the University of Sussex explains this using a model called predictive coding. According to him, the brain works in darkness. It receives only limited data, then makes predictions about what the outside world should be like, and we experience those predictions as reality. He calls this process controlled hallucination. For example, look at two green circles surrounded by different-sized circles. Even though the two green circles are exactly the same size, they look different. Your brain is not just reporting what your eyes see, it is predicting size based on context. That expectation is so powerful that it overrides real sensory data. We do not see the world as it is. We see the world as our brain expects it to be. Who is really making decisions? Neuroscientist Benjamin Libet conducted experiments that challenged our sense of free will. People were asked to move a finger whenever they felt like it and report the moment they decided to move. What he found was surprising. About half a second before people became aware of their decision, the brain had already begun preparing the action. In other words, by the time you think, "I decided," your brain is already in motion. Libet suggested that consciousness does not start actions. Instead, it may act like a supervisor, able to allow an action or stop it at the last moment. He called this ability free won't. If so, the unconscious mind handles the full 11 million bits of information, while consciousness receives only a 50-bit summary. And this massive compression may happen during that half-second delay. Jill Bolte Taylor's experience. Through the experience of Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor, we can glimpse what the right brain's 11 million bit world might feel like. Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor, a neuroanatomist at Harvard University, suffered a cerebral hemorrhage in her left brain one morning in 1996 while she was at home. It began as what felt like a simple headache, but over the course of 4 hours, she gradually lost the ability to walk, speak, read, write, and remember. Now, let me explain the primary roles of the right and left brain. While the left brain uses serial processing to handle one thing at a time, the right brain uses parallel processing to take in everything at once. The left brain is busy with the past and future, planning and reflecting. In contrast, the right brain exists only in the now. The left brain creates boundaries, separating self from the world, but the right brain sees no such walls. It perceives everything as a single connected energy. By experiencing a stroke in her left brain, Dr. Taylor gradually lost its functions and, in their place, experienced the world of the right brain. She could no longer define the boundaries of herself. Instead, she felt connected to all the energy around her, surrendered to the pure happiness of the present moment. Although she was incredibly happy in that world, a small part of her left brain was still active, calling out to her, "This is a stroke. Call a colleague. You don't have time to be having a stroke." Somehow, she managed to make the call and was taken to the hospital. Power of 50-bit. The episode of Dr. Taylor shows that while the left brain's 50-bit filter helps us function in daily life, quieting it can reveal the right brain's natural happiness. We see this in children. With a less developed left brain, they live in the present and simply enjoy what is fun. Adults, however, often lose that happiness by worrying about the future, especially in an age where AI can process far more information than human. It is natural for parents to worry whether their child, limited to a mere 50 bits of conscious awareness, can ever compete with such an AI. But there is no need to be pessimistic. The power of our 50-bit consciousness lies in choosing what truly matters. AI can suggest plausible options from a sea of information, but it cannot take responsibility and say, "This is it." This is because AI's fundamental role is to compute. It performs the calculation of choices and possibilities, but not the act of taking responsibility for a choice. The ability to strip information down to what is essential and to judge what truly matters and what does not, I believe this is the true power of our 50-bit consciousness. The grand hide-and-seek. In a previous video, I mentioned Itzhak Bentov, who was exploring universe by meditation. His words match this science perfectly. Bentov says that the supreme God of this world is you, and me, and everyone. We were all originally one pure consciousness. At some point, this supreme self started a game of hide and seek with itself. The self wrapped a piece of itself in layers of blankets like ego, ignorance, and the physical body, making it forget who it truly was. Bentov described this as being like a beggar who has forgotten that he is a king. If a game were too easy, or if you knew the ending from the start, it wouldn't be fun. Maybe that's why we chose to experience this small, 50-bit story. According to Bentov, life is the grand adventure of peeling off these blankets one by one to remember our true self. If so, our consciousness is not meant to stay at 50 bits forever. Maybe we are just beginning an adventure of slowly expanding our awareness bit by bit. I'd be happy if you could find this video interesting. Please subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you for watching until the very end. I'll see you next time.